Impact Wrestling fans, I'm back once again to give you another Impact Wrestling review, the August 16th edition, 2018 of Impact Wrestling. Wasn't able to do it last week, had some issues, was at the hospital with grandmother. She's all well, but I'm back to do some Impact Wrestling, talk some Impact Wrestling. So we're going to hop right on into this. Hit that subscribe button and hit that notification button to be notified of every video that I make. So we're gonna start right at the beginning. Sami Callihan and Phoenix. Ray freaking Phoenix. Like, it's just incredible the type of stuff that this guy pulls off. Like the plancha into the ring into a diamond cutter. Like, who thinks of that? Who even thinks to do that? I mean, we had some incredible spots in this match. I even like the Boston Crab into the STF that Sami Callihan pulled off. It was a phenomenal match. It would end when Phoenix hit the spinning muscle buster. Imagine that, for the win. And it was just a phenomenal matchup. The feud with OVE and the Lucha Brothers has just been great. I've enjoyed every minute of it, every match. And it's going to continue going into next week. I'll get more into that later. So next up, we had Phoenix backstage saying that he wanted a match with Brian Cage. The cojones on him. Brian Cage accepted, and we are gonna have ourselves a phenomenal X Division match. Could be one of the best matches of the year. So moving on, we had Allie. She said she wanted a piece of Su Yung. She's gonna get it tonight, and that Kiera Hogan would be at her side. And moving on from that, we had Johnny Impact versus Jimmy Jacobs. And this was pretty much a nothing match. Congo Khan came down, knocked out Johnny Impact. Jacobs tried to take advantage, but he couldn't. We had a DQ as Congo Khan got involved. It would end as Johnny Impact nailed Jimmy Jacobs with the steps. And I gotta be honest, this Johnny Impact versus Congo Kong and Jimmy Jacobs feud, I'm not really feeling it, to be honest. I like that they are telling a story with it. I can very much appreciate that much with it, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. I think both guys will benefit once they get this feud over with and once that they move on from each other. So moving on, we had the Smoke Show, and we had KM and Ba looking for the same date. And I gotta say, this is one of the funniest KM and Bob moments that I've seen in Impact Wrestling since they've been together. They both looking for the date. They both found out they're both trying to date Scarlett. And I think the funniest line out of this was when Scarlett Bordeaux said that Moet was for side chicks. That was hilarious. I did it with Scarlett Bordeaux telling KM that he needs to change his ways, and with Falaba giving a bow to Scarlett Bordeaux and getting a slap for his troubles. So that was a pretty funny segment. Moving on, we had Austin Aries in the ring. He was with Killer Kross. They had a phenomenal promo. To say it was their first time together, they needed to make an impact with that very first statement. No pun intended right there. But they made an impact. They made a great statement. They had a great promo. Aries called Kross's insurance policy, said that if you mess with him, you'll get crossed out. I very much like this promo. I kind of thought for a slight second that we was about to get a turn. You know, Aries was in front of Killer Kross. He was just standing there in that heel turn position, and we didn't get it. So maybe that's some foreshadowing down the line. Maybe they'll break up at some point. I could very much see it happen. But Eddie Edwards would come down on the ringside. I didn't like the fact that they had him take Kross directly out with ease. I won't say with ease, but it wasn't a real struggle to take him out. He hit him with the kendo sticks, and then the cutter just completely took Kross out. I thought that, you know, as Aries and Kross's first appearance together, you had to have him ramshack Eddie Edwards for the first time, and eventually he can overcome Killer Kross. But it's all good. Austin Aries, and Killer Kross did stand tall over Eddie Edwards, and we're still off to a solid build with that program. Austin Aries, Eddie Edwards. I think we're gonna head that to Bound for Glory. And like I said last week, I was very much satisfied that Austin Aries won, but won unclean with the help of Killer Kross. I can't wait to see where they go next with these two. So moving on, we had Joe Hendry versus Eli Drake. This is a pretty fast-paced match. Had a funny video with Joe Hendry before the match. I very much like that guy, but he can wrestle in the ring as well. Don't let the personality overshadow the person in the ring. That's much like Eli Drake. Don't let the personality overshadow his wrestling ability. They had a pretty decent match. It didn't go very long at all. It was a very quick match. I ended with Drake running Joe Hendry into Grado, and he picked up the win. And after the match, we still have this love story playing out with Joe Hendry, Katarina, and Grado. And at this point, I really think that they just need to get it over with. Like, let's just do this. Let's have a segment happening. Let's have this Grado and Joe Hendry match, and then let's move on from it. I would very much like to see them do that and get it over with instead of dragging it out. At least, like I said, with Johnny Impact, they're telling the story, so I appreciate that, but it's one that I feel like we should get past very soon. So we had Matt Sydal. He had a great video package. Impact always does a great job. They're just next level with these video packages. Talking about opening his third eye, literally. And we'll see where it goes with Matt Sydal from here. So moving on, we had Sami Callihan, and he challenged Pentagon to a Mexican death match. Like, goodness, what else are these guys gonna do to each other that they haven't already done? We've seen the spikes at Slammiversary. What else is next? So I'm very much looking forward to this. Next week is on free TV, and I expect it to be a bananas crazy match. I don't know if it'll live up to the previous match, but we'll see. So moving on, we had the champion Su Yung versus Ali non-title match. This match was a decent match. I expected a bit more from it. Didn't go for very long, but we had some good back and forth, and it would end as the bridesmaids tried to get involved. Kiera Hogan took him out, and Ali would pick up the win, but she would not pick up the win clean because Tessa, excuse me, future Knockouts champion, the Walking Mean Streak, Tessa came down and beat the crap out of Ali. Like, at this point, like I said, I think I said this recently, it kind of reminds me when Braun Strowman used to just obliterate Roman Reigns. It was just entertaining television. When Tessa Blanchard comes down and obliterates Ali, it's entertaining television. Like, she just has a mean streak unlike no other, and it is just fun to watch. So the thing here was that as Tessa was going for the beatdown, we had Su Yung come in and give the mandible claw to Tessa. Surprisingly, Ali laid Tessa out, and I would think that that would set up our triple threat match, most likely to go down at Redefined in 2 weeks. So I'm looking forward to that. Probably gonna get a triple threat match for the Knockouts title. I'm one to say that the Su Yung thing doesn't end until Rosemary comes back. We'll see if Ali or Tessa picks up the victory in that one. I mean, the match is not official yet. If it goes down, we'll see how it plays out. And I still want to see this Ali and Tessa Blanchard thing play out again, to be quite honest, with Su Yung losing the title to Rosemary. That's just my opinion. We'll see how it all plays out. And last up, we had the street fight, the LAX versus the OG'z, and it was literally a street fight in the streets. And I gotta say, I've been talking about Impact Wrestling's production team, and they outdid themselves once again. Just phenomenally done. I just looked at some highlights and some great things that happened in this fight. We had King breaking the everyone joining in rule that he agreed to with Conan. He broke that rule. Got crazy after that. Homicide had a knife or something he was trying to stab with Santana with. I couldn't make out what it was. From there, we had a border toss from Hernandez. We had a rope choke, and it was just phenomenally done. The camera angles, the intensity, and it was just great. Well done. It wasn't a match, it was a fight. The fight would end after Santana saved the day on Hernandez, started beating him down, and much like in a real fight, the winner is the last man standing. So Santana was the last man standing. I thought it ended really quickly. Like, I was expecting it to, and I wasn't looking at the time when the match was down, but I remember those Matt Hardy wrestling forays that we used to go off into, and it was just like the matches or the fights would go really, really long, and I expected this one to go really like Final Deletion. I couldn't get the word out, but I expected this one to go really long as well, but it did not go very long. It was still well done, and I still enjoyed it very much. However, at the end, we had King get into Konan's face. This is probably why it didn't go that long. We had the post-match, or the post-fight. King getting into Konan's face, telling him he's an old man, telling him to take him out. He wouldn't do it. And as we went off to the air, Konan went to slap him, and we faded to black before we could even get a punch, a slap, a hit in, and we were done. I thought it was phenomenally done. Like I said in my Slammiversary predictions, I thought the OGs would win, but what ended up happening for Slammiversary was that LAX won, but the OGs stood tall. So the OGs stood tall, and I had LAX coming back to stand tall in another match, to which they stood tall here, and the third match would take place at Bound for Glory. That was my prediction, and I think we're headed towards that way. If they play it slow, we'll head to Bound for Glory in a blow-off match with these 6 guys. So, well, with these 4 guys, with 2 managers, Konnan and King. And I'm very much looking forward to that, to see how it all played out. So that was the end of the show. I very much enjoyed it. There were some things that I thought could be better about the show, but overall, it was a show that I enjoyed. I didn't think it was a bad show whatsoever. I thought that it was a great moving ground towards the next pay-per-view, Redefined, and a great build towards that as well. And I'm very much looking forward to Redefined. I'm very much looking forward to next week as well. Impact always does a great job of getting me hyped for what's to come on the next week. This Mexican death match, I don't know what's gonna go down. I don't know what's gonna happen, but it's gonna happen. And I'm very interested to see what happens. Let me know down below, what did you think about this episode of Impact? What do you think about the episode next week, the Mexican death match? Whatever you got, comment down below.